Okay, kitties, so this arrived on my front porch just a couple days ago. This is, get in here, this is a 5-foot multiple colored off-road whip by Nightfire. So I guess this is a new one for them, and we're going to give it a try. In the box, you'll see the whip right here. Looks like we got a flag and a tip, and looks like we got a remote control here and a pretty good sized base. So let's see what we got. Now this part here is pretty interesting indeed. This is the base of the antenna, and it's, see if I can do it in here, a quick disconnect. Looks like the power cable goes up the center, so this part stays on the vehicle and goes in there. Very similar to, looks like a air chuck fitting. It's made out of aluminum, and looks to be built pretty well. Kind of reminds me of the quick disconnect I did on mine for my homemade one, because at the point when I did my homemade one, nobody offered a quick disconnect such as this. It was pretty much bolt on and leave it go. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I liked it. Looks like it's pretty positive locking here. Pretty sizable chunk of aluminum. The wires got some pretty good length to it, and the wires are actually pretty tiny. Could probably do with a little bit thicker gauge wire on this, but it's LED. You don't really need a whole lot, but being able to connect this to a vehicle or any kind of a plug, these wires are not very friendly with butt splice connectors or most terminals. They're a little on the thin side, so that makes it a little difficult to connect them, but we'll see how that goes. Now, as far as construction, looks like we have just 2 layers of LED strips inside a plastic tube. It's got some good flexibility to it, but I don't know how well it would fare. The fact that it's in a plastic pipe kind of concerns me a bit, because I don't know how impact resistant this might be as far as when it comes to tree limbs, or even highway speeds, and whether or not it'll get broken or not. So that's just something we will have to address when it comes to long-term testing. So otherwise, first impressions, this kind of worries me a little bit, because after all, it's just a see if you can see it there. It is just a clear piece of acrylic tubing with LED strips inside. So that's gonna be a tough one. Okay, we're gonna take this out and mount this machine. This is the base of the unit. The machine I'm gonna be putting this on is just gonna be my commander, because I already have it set up for a whip light. So I'm just gonna pop the homemade mount out, which is just a simple quarter turn disconnect. So I'm going to take that out because there's already a hole there for it. So I'll pop that out of there, and this looks like it'll just drop right in that same hole, because it looks to be about the same size. Looks like it'll fit the standard CB hole, or a CB antenna hole, I should say. So yep, I'll just pop this in there and tighten her down, and Oh, I know what this is for now. That makes sense. Okay. That's actually the cover for this, so you can keep the connection clean. But it's not a spare tip. That's an actual cover to go over this to keep it clean. So I actually like that idea. So, yep, we'll go ahead and we'll stick this in the machine. And I guess it's fairly self-explanatory. I mean, you just take these nuts off, you drop it down through the hole, and you put the nut on there and tighten it down, and then you hook up the red wire to positive and the black wire to ground, and that's it. So I'm not going to show you how to do that. If you really need to know, I guess I can give you a step-by-step in the comments, but for the most part, it should be fairly straightforward. So I'll go out there and put this in the machine. And we're going to wait for it to get dark out, so that way we can see the antenna really well, because can't really see lights during the daylight, especially when it's sunny outside. So we'll go ahead and put this in the machine, and tonight we'll give her a test. Now see how this thing performs. Tons of color choices, tons of different modes, different speeds, and different intensities. I'm controlling all that with this remote right here. And off.